Okay, so this is going to be a pretty off-the-cuff video, I guess, talking about the Stricken update. It's been out for a very short period of time, only a few hours as of recording this, but I've played a lot and I've seen just about everything of this update to give some early impressions. Firstly, this update is actually a lot smaller than I thought it would be in some areas, namely balance and skins. There's only two real major balance changes we're talking about, which is a buff to both PCX and Wisp. I'm not really sure why PCX got buffed in the first place, as he was already a good monster, but I guess EXE fans are just annoying Blade about it. As for Wisp, he's going to have a bit more control over being looped, as he can now do rollers, as well as launch gobble bombs down long hallways by hitting them. Only time will tell how good this makes his anti-loop, but we'll just have to see. The Monster Chance swap cap returns from December, and I hope it stays this time. I think it's a really good thing to have. As for the maps, they're alright. Mainland is definitely a lot better than Gilgamesh, as Gilgamesh is literally just a series of hallways, but at least it's atmospherically really nice. The code task is also a little inconsistent, but it's okay, whatever. Mainland is definitely my preferred one of the two, as it's really nice to have a new open map in this game. I don't really have much to say about it at this moment, other than I just think it's a very fun inclusion, and there's a lot of cool layouts and all that. Now, for the main meat and potatoes, the Stricken, Tinky Winky, whatever you want to call him. Firstly, his skins are super cool. I'm surprised there's no skin based on Poe, but there's one for Lala and Dipsy. I love these skins, and I hope Poe does get added in the future at some point, because she's very cool, and one of the most iconic Teletubbies, really. The chase theme, also dynamically changing mid-chase depending on the form of Tinky Winky, is also rad. It's a terrible thing to do mid-chase unless your opponent is cornered, but still, super cool. But now for the part most of you are actually here for. How strong is the Stricken? Well, it's a little hard to say yet, but personally at the moment, playing several matches of Stricken already, I think Stricken is one of the more average to weaker monsters in this game. The main issue with the Stricken is they have very little chase power and they're very sensitive to the maps that they get. Stricken has basically no real chase power, even while in tank form. If you try and play Stricken as a chase-oriented monster, aggressively going after people, you're unfortunately not going to get a lot of good results. The only time you really want to be chasing someone down is when you're on last man standing, as while the Stricken has amazing stamina economy, their speed and time to catch and kill a survivor is probably the longest in the game. Your best strategy is going to be area denial, more specifically, objective camping. You're definitely going to want to sit around objectives and make survivors come into your custard-covered defenses and then use your tank form to punish anyone who finds themselves in these bad spots. A big counterplay survivors can do is just recognize that this is a bad idea and not enter in the first place unless a lot of them go in at once. In which case, at least a few of them can do their tasks and weaken your defenses, while one or two will probably get killed. The infection speed buff isn't really useful in a chase unless, again, we're on last man standing and you need to exhaust the last survivor. It can be good at killing less experienced survivors for sure, but it's mostly a tool to help scare off survivors as you set up your territory to empower the tank form. Speaking of, the tank form is extremely fun. You can aim ground pound mid-leap, and landing on top of a survivor deals massive damage. Rubble Toss, on the other hand, is a terrible ability, and that's not a fault of the ability. Rather, on most maps, you just don't have an opportunity to use it. The only maps in this game that really allow you to use it is Mainland, Drainage, sorta Pillars, and sorta Forest. My world would be a lot better if it wasn't covered in garbage and had invisible walls everywhere. The best part about the tank form, however, is the ability to forcefully zone survivors. Your basic attack deals knockback, which you can use to push survivors back into these corners or get them off of custards. Some survivors just stand there and try and remove custard in front of you, which don't do that. Overall, Tinky seems like a perfectly middle-of-the-road monster whose main strategy is to just deny objectives in an area of the map. They'll be very good at this, but really have no means of actually running down a survivor and catching them. A big part of it is just hoping survivors do walk into your web of custards, and you can punish them accordingly. With all that said, I'll leave you with a live commentary for my first match as Tinky edited down, and then a full match as Tinky on the mainland. Alright, see ya. Okay, so I already have a general idea on what I'm supposed to be doing as this monster, so let's just wait for the reset. Or we don't get one anymore. We're just in it. I'm not quite sure. What are they doing in here? Okay, this is quite strong, actually. They're just bleeding out. As I'm chasing them in the tank form. I definitely like him. I don't know how good he's going to be against good survivors, but I definitely like him a lot. Oh, you're done for. So my first Tinky match was a white. That's pretty good. He definitely feels very strong with his map pressure, but I'm not sure. We'll have to play him a little bit more and see other people play him.